we want to believe that prejudice is either there or not there. And so for it to, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. For it to exist in degrees, that's hard to conceptualize. And so it just gets lost. It becomes gray. It becomes ambiguous.
That was Michaela, and you're listening to The Gray Zone. We're your hosts. I'm Shreya.
And I'm Carly. Shreya and I noticed on campus and in our general political climate, people don't really want to talk about topics that make them uncomfortable. It's easy to turn a blind eye, but we should take ownership of how our actions affect others. We wanted to take a step back and hand the mic over to students who have been marginalized on campus to guide us through their experience.
During this climate, certain voices aren't humanized as much as others. We want this podcast to be a platform for these voices. When you're intimately listening to someone's voice and story, you can empathize more, and we hope you can connect with our guests. This episode, listen to how our friend Michaela navigates space on a predominantly white campus as a Black woman, shares her experiences,
and gives voice to that unspoken space, the gray zone.
So I identify as Black, mainly female, of lower middle socioeconomic status, but that's like complicated. It's usually just race and socioeconomic status that are like that stress me out. And I'm an anthropology major too. And so when I take anthro classes, you would think that people would generally not be prejudiced, but anthropology being such an old subject, there's still a lot of rhetoric hiding underneath that is still like, I am studying you. You are subordinate to me because I am studying you. It took 20 hours.
for your hair.
Yeah. Oops, my head hurts so bad still.
They're really pretty.
It's cold. Just realized how cold it was.
Did you go get it done somewhere? Do you have a friend do your hair?
I go to this lady, but I don't think I'm going to go to her anymore.
Okay.
Because she has issues. like her son's always there, and it's like, I know like the father's around, and I know it's definitely just him being a shithead and not watching the kid, you know?
Yeah.
But he's like the most annoying little fucking kid I've ever met in my entire life.
And that takes 20 hours to do.
Yeah, like I was there from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. the next day. And the whole 20 hours, this kid is just like,
Stop.
just fucking spinning around and like on YouTube playing fucking Minecraft Let's Play videos and shit. And then they're homophobic, and we were watching Criminal Minds. It was an episode with gay people, and like, she's African. She's from like West Africa, and so it's like I understand why you're homophobic, but it's like still uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I still have like a shit ton done, and she's like, oh, these gay people make me laugh, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So it's like, okay. I'm gonna just stay silent so I don't get kicked out of this shop. "19th. A victim speaks out on the radical emotional and physical harm brought on by the new trend of indifference, otherwise known as apathy, otherwise known as ignorance, otherwise known as white privilege playtime, involves the hanging of posters of past hanging victims drying in the southern sun, Black men darkened like gorillas, and playful condemnation of a white woman's tarnish by the Black gaze. But please, take a Black woman as your fuck, a slave. Among the points meant to assuage and the man threatening to rape her with coat hangers so that there may be no more Black babes, and the man who did because he could try, he did not save. In the same breath as Reagan Bush 84, raise your alt-right hand and call for liberal genocide. Oh, say I can't see color anymore. Aryan prosperity, making the country great indeed. Explode and make the eardrum bleed and ring and ring and ring. To our victim, they respond, note she is shaken and bleeding internally. Your mother probably had it worst in the 60s. The final pinch of pain shooting up the arm and into a weak heart and blows sinewed pieces out like a grenade. The youth take turns until no hope remains. I write little snippets into my phone when it seems that it comes together correctly in my head, because like the little things I have down or have written down are just like small emotional moments that I'm able to translate into some type of word, and then that gets like elaborated on once I go through it and I have time between that instance of emotion and now where I'm able to like process it. So then I like extend the poem. This year we had a situation where people were leaning towards ideas that were basically eugenics. They were suggesting that some people are just born to be good at certain tasks. And I was like, no, that's bad. But I did raise my hand, and I feel the energy change when I raise my hand to like, be like, hey there, I don't think you realize it, but that's racist. It feels so tense in the air. It feels so heavy, and you feel every single eye like on you. And my classmates, they kind of shift back, and you can hear exhales. People lean back in their chairs, make themselves more defensive, close themselves off by crossing their leg, crossing their arm, barring their arms in front of them, like start writing something. That's typically what happens, unless, they're interested. There are, the few people who are interested who lean in, again, like the professor. But often people move out and try to distance themselves. You feel everything that everyone else is feeling because I made it about race. And it just makes the entire situation uncomfortable. And sometimes I feel like I have to apologize to professors for making class uncomfortable. And they're often like, no, like, don't ever apologize. You don't have to apologize. But it's like, yeah, I do still feel like I have to apologize because I made it tense. I made it just noticeably tense. And the class like stops after that. When someone's intimidated by me, it hurts more because it's like, please see me as a human before you see me as incendiary as anything else. Like, I am just a girl. I'm here for school. I'm here for class. I'm just trying to make friends. Like, I'm 20. I'm young. And so it's frustrating. Like, making friends, dating, and just being in class.
Jared, what's the Sherbrooke song called?
Called Barrett's Privateers.
So we are sitting in the living room of Michigan Socialist House. Jesus Christ. Like, my face just gets instantly sour when I hear.
I was told you said the seas were American gold, we fire no guns, shed no tears, when broken man on Halifax pier.
Now I want to imagine over this stomping.
The rest of us just sat there in just
I was like looking at Harry, and Harry was like just watching me like internally have conflict.
I constantly glanced over at you, just like, what is Michaela thinking? What is Michaela thinking?
It was a lot.
It goes on forever.
It's the most indulgent account of just reckless journeying. Yeah, just like the type of wanderlust that I attribute to white culture that just gets like super annoying. And like, have whatever hobby you want, but it's all just kind of like mired in manifest destiny. I would just ask that if you meet me, find something about me, I guess, that makes you want to talk to me, and just do it. Just talk. I guess that's kind of like my point. If anything makes you scared to want to communicate with someone, ignore it. If you feel like you're going to say something wrong, if you feel like you're going to say something dumb, ignore it. Just talk. Like, just try to even think about being that person's friend. You don't have to, obviously, but in that one moment, just see someone as a potential friend and respect them and embrace them. Do I still say this has been the Gray Zone? This has been the Gray Zone.
You've been listening to the Gray Zone.
You've been listening to the Gray Zone. I'm Michaela.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Shreya. This has been our first episode. We'd just like to do a few thanks.
We'd like to thank Michaela Davis for being open and willing to participate and sharing her voice on our podcast. And we'd also like to thank Rebecca Deitch for creating the music and atmosphere you hear in our episode.
Catch.
I feel like your voice should come back in though. Like, that's a long time for me to talk.
Okay. You'll hear us next time on The Gray Zone.